Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all the viewers. This is, I guess, our Christmas special. Not sure it's going to be that Christmassy, but special, yes. I hope. Yeah, so this is our second weekend of the school. Which means that we are leaving behind the introductory part. 3 weeks ago we met and we explored the world and the themes and the solutions of the throat chakra. That was our main focus. We discussed what it means to have a balanced throat chakra. We discussed, if you remember, the key question that we need to ask for the process that we explored of translating and editing, which is the most important, most fundamental process that the throat chakra does. And this process is what we wish to master. However, I know that some of you haven't had a chance to either participate or watch this weekend and the first weekend, and that is not a problem. We are starting in many respects from a new point. If I sometimes refer to things that I taught last weekend, then it's still, I think, pretty understandable in the context. We have a weekend of strong transformation ahead of us, and I'm saying it because I believe that this specific teaching is quite powerful. At the beginning, it may be a bit unsettling, a bit radical in the insight that it brings, but I believe that if we follow together, hand in hand, the whole process, by tomorrow evening we will grasp and we will change. This weekend I'm putting the hat of the therapist. I I have several hats. You can't see them. But every time I need to put another hat for the process of transformation according to where we are, what we want to awaken, what we want to stimulate, what we want to free in ourselves. So this weekend is my hat of the therapist. Of course, it's always in the context of spiritual transformation, and still it is where we need to start. Because without this start, we don't really possess the sufficient emotional and psychological maturity for the other layers. Then we can just try to skip, because our mind is pretty sophisticated. We tend to skip steps, but then what happens in life is that we are thrown back to the beginning point, and as if life tells us, yes, but you haven't completed that lesson, how exactly do you want to proceed? So this is a very fundamental lesson for self-expression. Without it, we will not have the sufficient power, the sufficient emotional maturity and integration to move on, to face the more intense challenges. But before we are starting at all, you know that I always like to start with a sort of meditation or intention, because that creates a foundation in us, an energetic and attentive foundation. So for that, let us close our eyes. Take a deep breath. Then breathe slowly and deeply. And relax more and more with every breath we take. And what we will do in this short meditation is to set our intention for the weekend, but not in the regular way of thinking what we hope to achieve. Instead, let us picture and visualize ourselves at the end of this weekend. Picture yourself individually tomorrow at somewhere around 6:30. How do you wish to see yourself then? How do you want to feel yourself? Feel in yourself? What do you wish to feel that you have gone through? Really feel how through your visualization and intention of yourself at the end of this weekend, you are creating yourself. See if your visualization remains extremely modest and hesitant. Like imagining that you have only learned something very small, changed a bit, felt a bit better, or that you could actually want more, bring more energy of self-creation. See yourself in interaction maybe, or in the way you relate to your own feelings and emotions and thoughts. If you want, you can only also shortly write to yourself the vision that you see, to anchor it even more. You can take a moment to write it down. So you can gently come out of the meditation. There are two ways to participate in life and in this weekend. One is passive, which means hopefully this guy Shai will do well this weekend, give a good teaching, good practices, and something will happen. Who knows? Perhaps. We'll see. That's the passive or receptive type of participation. We hope, we rely on someone else for this chance of change. And the second is a co-creative level in which I participate consciously in my own self-creation. Of course, this does not mean that if we had a completely ridiculous type of weekend with meaningless and not effective at all, then our intention alone could do something, but it does change a lot if we bring into the picture a vision of ourselves. Of ourselves changing. And this practice of just like we did is actually very, very significant in many situations in our life. Whenever I enter a satsang, a weekend, a book writing, I always bring a certain direction that I want to achieve at the end, a certain self-expression that I define to myself. It's never random. I never hope. It's always with a certain intention. But when we imagine ourselves at the end of this weekend, The question is, of course, how much we have dared to imagine ourselves, to what a degree, with what level of intensity. In other words, how much will did we put into it? Did we dare to expect something big for ourselves? And this is where this weekend starts. How much we dare to want. If we at all want to complete the chain of self-expression. At the very beginning, it's how much we're going to dare and wish and want, and that's what this weekend is all about. Because to express everything that is inside myself, I need first of all to dare to express. I need to feel that I can allow myself to express, that I deserve to express. So I need to resolve this issue with myself before I'm even starting to consider expression. Energetically speaking, we mentioned that before on the last weekend. Energetically speaking, we talk about the second chakra and the third chakra as possible inhibitions. It's like we want to express, we want to come out, we want to remember from last weekend, we want to break that barrier between the inner and the outer worlds. But then in the second chakra we might feel shame, not daring, not deserving. It's very, very a basic feeling that many people share, almost everyone. And then there is in the third chakra the feeling that we are also ashamed or afraid to want at all, to have wills. And then together they create such a blockage that we can basically, we don't feel the legitimacy, we don't feel a sufficient courage to express. And this is why I said I'm going to put on the hat of the therapist, because we need to treat these two parts in us and to release the shame. And that's why this weekend is going to be at the beginning uncomfortable. You will feel perhaps you will move uncomfortably on your seats. Some of you will accept it very easily. Some of you will say, hey, wait, that's, where is it taking me? So it may take our mind some time to understand, and the second and third chakras to begin to align with this process. Okay? So that was a warm-up. So daring, the opposite of daring is obviously shame. It's the feeling of that I'm too ashamed of myself, or of my expression, of what of my feelings, my needs, and my wills to express them. That's a very basic feeling. And this feeling of shame is translated very easily into, of all people in the world, and unlike everyone else, my needs, wills, and feelings are not worthy of expression. I don't deserve. In my case, in my specific case, I am not a legitimate part of the world, and therefore I need to suppress. The funny thing is that so many people share that obviously it's not true. Otherwise it means that half of the population happens to be undeserving. And we want to change that. We want to create a feeling in us that it is completely legitimate, completely right, perfectly right to feel, need, and want, to feel comfortable with all that. And not need to hide it away. But for this, we need to understand some major things about ourselves, about the way our psyche works. Because it works in interesting ways. I just said at the beginning, and it also says in the syllabus, blame the syllabus, it says needs, wills, and feelings, right? How to feel that we can express our needs, wills, and feelings. And I'm going to already destroy this promise. I'm already going to question all that. First of all, we say needs and we say wills, right? I want to express my needs and my wills. Let's try to understand what needs are. Needs are all those elements or components that I must receive in order to feel to avoid a state of severe lack of something, right? It's so essential, it's something so vital, without which I'm going to experience a severe lack. And we know what, we have all kinds of obvious needs, right? We need to sleep sufficiently, if we don't sleep sufficiently for a certain period of time, we might get our nervous system, our brain, we're going to be in a unhealthy state, and sometimes dangerously unhealthy. We obviously need to eat and to drink. We need to eat and to drink in quite a simple way. We don't need to eat ice cream, right? Nobody needs ice cream, and nobody needs chocolate cake. You need certain ingredients. You definitely need B12. Yeah, this is where the uncomfortability starts, the discomfort. Yes. I need ice cream. Of course I need. That's an essential. Without that, I'm going to enter a severe lack in my life. We obviously probably need, unless we're amazing yogis, we need to wear some clothes, especially when it's really cold, and we need a roof over our heads, and because to be a homeless is not a very healthy state to be in, and so on and so on. You're starting to get it, right? There are needs. The needs are essential. Without them, we are exposing ourselves, or are exposed because of circumstances, to dangerous lack. And unfortunately, there are many people in the world that are deprived of their needs. And to be deprived of needs is a horrible, horrible condition. But things are more complicated than that. We use the feeling of we say that we need certain things also when we don't really need them, which means that we don't have to have them for our basic survival, for our basic sanity, for our basic health, and for our basic psychological security. It's obvious that to live in a war zone constantly for the rest of your life means depriving yourself of the need of psychological, not only physical, but also psychological security, right? But things get complicated. And they get complicated when we begin to say about many things that we need them. And the reality is that we confuse many needs with wills. While we want something, we say we need them. Do you understand? For example, I need emotional recognition. Nobody really needs emotional recognition, to get many likes on Facebook, or to have the approval of their parents for what they do. This is not a need. We say this is a need, but it is actually a want. We want something. We want to have something. We want to experience something. But it's not comfortable to say we want.